Hey, quick question. Do you play contemporary gospel music? Okay, then what about gospel quartet music? Well, are you interested? So cool, if you're a bass player and you answered yes or no to either one of these questions, stick around, I got something for you. I'm Jermaine Morgan, musician and producer, and I've been playing gospel music pretty much my whole musical life, and I've worked in gospel music with some of today's leading artists and some of the artists of old for over 15 years. And because of my experience, I have a pretty good idea of what gospel music should sound like. What I've done is I've taken all of these influences from contemporary music and gospel quartet music, and I've created some jam packs just for you. I've created one for contemporary gospel music to give you an idea of how to approach today's contemporary gospel. And I've also created one for gospel quartet to give you an idea of how to approach gospel quartet music, both old school and modern music. So in these packs, I've included my bass take so you can have a good idea of how I approached it from my perspective, but I also give you the bassless track so you can do your own thing. You can use these to upload videos on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you choose, whatever platform you choose to upload your videos. Or if you just want to jam out around the house, it's perfect for that as well. And get this, I've also included the sheet music and the tab if you need that little extra help. And if that's not enough, what I've done is I went a step further and I did instructional videos to show you guys, if you're completely new to gospel music, gospel quartet, gospel contemporary music, I've created instructional videos to show you guys how to navigate through these tracks, even break down a few of the licks that I'm playing in these tracks to give you some ideas of what can work over these type grooves. So I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Thank you. I'm out. Peace. Good morning, and welcome back to Grooves and Motivation Live. I'm Jermaine Morgan. Hopefully you guys are well. Make sure you can hear me this morning. Good morning, Bernard. I see you this morning. Hopefully you're good, man. Hopefully everybody is good. I had a little groove that I was working on earlier. I didn't quite get through with the groove, but I hope it works out. So Marcus, good morning to you. Morning to you. Let's see if I can finish this thing. I get somewhere close to finish with it. What's up, Cameron? Sweet. Benjamin, what's going on? Ottawa is in the building. I've been to Ottawa. We can work with that. Saying I can work with that, but the shaker is kind of bothering me. I almost want to do it over. Perfection is kicking in. It's like it got more of a straight feel to it than a swing. I wanted to swing, and it's not swinging enough. I'm not a percussionist, but I'm experimenting. Take me to India. Take me to India. Let's see. It's all about that feel, getting the feel right. I had to come and play with Canton Jones for there was a big conference up there, the Franklin Graham Conference, Rock the Lakes, Canada. Yeah. Still ain't it. It still ain't it. Gotta get it. That's a little closer. Zank, is that Zanky Lee? Zank Leo? I'll be butchering y'all's names, I know. All right, so, hey, what's up, man? I love your plan. I'm trying how to figure out how I can do continuous walking, gospel bass lines, not fast, but slow. I got you. Well, I've done several lessons on my channel dealing with walking bass, and there's like a couple of, you got to really search them, called Walking Bass. And then I have like several courses on my website, jermaine.morgan.net, that deal with walking bass, as well as some lessons there, and my monthly membership lessons as well. Chris, good morning. Hopefully all is well with you. China in the building. Yes, sir. Finally, I'm here. What's up, Chad? I watch your live stream. Good stuff, man. Glad that you're here. Glad you're here. Andre, good morning to you. Oh, I forgot to say, wherever you guys are watching from, some of you guys have already done it, but wherever you're watching from, be sure to let me know if you don't mind giving that information out. Good morning, Tiffany. Hopefully everybody is well. Corey, good morning to you, man. We're just playing around. The Black Chad. Morning, Sean. All right, I got that idea. So I'll I'll can that. Not really. I'll come back to that. I just want to get it out of my head. You know, I got in this loop pedal, like I have like tons of songs. I done told y'all that before. If you don't have a loop pedal, be sure to get you one. They loop pedals save lives of songs. What's going on, Dr. Thunder? How you doing, man? Hopefully all is well with you. Looking forward to that interview. And hey guys, if you haven't already, check out Dr. Thunder. Dr. Thunder is a tongue twister. Check out his channel. He does some cool interviews with some really, really cool musicians. And so you should go over there and check it out when you get a chance. Daniel, good morning to you, sir. Preston, I see you. Good morning. Alex, if I didn't speak already, good morning to you. Glad to see everybody in the building this morning, in the virtual building, that is. Really, really glad to see everybody. I'm going to go to this other loop idea I had I was going to play around with. Some of you guys have heard this one before. I want to revisit it a little bit. Just wanted to revisit it. What effects are you using? Which effects are you using? Pretty much the same stuff that I'm always using for the most part. I got a pedal board here, and I don't veer too much from that. Unless I'm recording, I use a lot of different sounds and plugins. But on my actual pedal board, I'm just simply using like a Hall of Fame reverb, the Reverb Hall of Fame 2 by TC Electronic. I have an MXR bass envelope filter, and there's a delay that I'm using by TC as well. So really, really simple setup. So yeah, I'm not using a lot of different stuff, just some really simple stuff. Good afternoon, Harry. Good afternoon from the UK. Love your channel and your attitude. Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. I don't think I've had anybody to compliment on my attitude before. I think that's a new one. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I guess it's good to have a good attitude. I try anyway. I try. All right, let's jump into this little groove here. Good morning, Danny.
different. Obviously, you can hear that's a vibe. We can literally stay there all day long. Some of y'all might be tired of that, but I'm like, yeah, it's just so many ideas that can come from that. Just kind of being in that moment. And that kind of segues me into today's topic, too afraid to be creative. Before I get into that, I want to read a few of the comments. I've seen a few more people jump in. AKA JB, good morning. Give me good vibes right now. Man, thank you. Cardell, I guess that's how you say it. Cardell, blessings to you, sir. Floyd, good morning to you, man. Paul, I don't know if I spoke to you already, but good morning to you. I think I spoke to Danny already, but good morning to you again. Music for Jesus, I see you in the building. Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate that. Andre Colson, riding through Atlanta traffic. Yeah, that's not one of my favorite things in the world. Atlanta traffic. I can do without it. Stephen, good morning to you. The black chat, I really appreciate that, man. Don't forget to like the video. That's always great. I really appreciate you guys who like and just simply give that thumbs up to the video. I appreciate it. But yeah, too afraid to be creative. I was going through like several titles for this live, trying to think of, man, what's something that people, because each time I come on here, what's something that people deal with. Each time I come on here, I'm trying to answer that question. I'm trying to find something with grooves and motivation that will be helpful to, everybody who's watching, because I know one of the things I say in my monthly membership lessons is if one person is dealing with something, we at least have 10 people who are dealing with the same thing. So if I can provide some insight, some kind of clarity on something to help you throughout your week, to help you throughout your day, then I've done my job here by coming on live every week, getting up super early in the morning. Well, I'm up early anyway, but getting on here and sharing with you guys. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is people are too afraid. People are too afraid of, being creative. Anthony, good morning to you. One of the biggest things that I think is the number one cause of people being afraid is fear itself. We obviously nobody wants to be the first to do anything. We'll do it after we see someone do it, because the idea behind that is, well, it's impossible to do, depending on what it is. It's like it's impossible to do until we've seen somebody else successfully do it, and once that roadmap is laid out, then of course we'll go. But nobody wants to go off of the beaten path, the path that's already there. No one wants to veer away from that. And there are some people who like to be different. I'm not talking about you. If you're a person like, I'm always doing stuff that's out of the box, then sweet. Then this might not be as much for you. And then again, you never know. Just hang around because some of the things, even me, myself, I know that I'm one who's often been considered a trailblazer in many areas, and I know it in my own life. And one of the things about being a trailblazer, it sounds good. It looks good on paper. It even sounds good when you hear somebody talk about it in reference to someone who was a trailblazer. But when you're in the midst of doing it, oh man, it's something else. It's not fun at all. And I don't necessarily look forward. Let me rephrase that. It's not something that I'm always excited about, but it's something that I've learned how over the years to motivate myself in terms to move forward, because doing something that you haven't seen done, or doing your own thing, so to speak, it can be very, very intimidating. Going back to the whole thing about fear, people can just be afraid. Just the idea of doing something that's, me, just being creative in my own right. The number two thing I think that people are afraid because is rejection. We don't want to be rejected. We don't want our ideas, what we come up with, the things that we put our time and our efforts into to create. You don't want to feel like that thing gets rejected by the main people, maybe that you're trying to serve, or the main people for some of you guys who you're trying to impress. You don't want that idea to feel like it's rejected. Good morning, T. And so, so a lot of times we have the tendency to kind of back off, and we'll give maybe 60% instead of the whole full 100%, or as some people say, the full 120. But you know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of times we'll back off and we'll give people as much as we assume they can handle. One of these things I was listening to years ago, it was called the Four Agreements. And I don't know which number it is, but one of the main four agreements is that you never assume. Don't assume, because we can get in our own heads and create limiting beliefs for ourselves, create self doubt, create things that really don't exist because of what we think about the situation, when in actuality it's not even true. Nobody's thinking that but you. It's like, man, I can't do this. People gonna think I'm this, or people are gonna think I'm doing this, or think like, how do you know what people are thinking? Just because you've heard them say it in this sense, it doesn't mean it relates to you directly, or it doesn't mean that it directly correlates to you or what you think, or what you feel, because you've seen somebody else in another situation get treated a certain way when they done a certain thing. We oftentimes do that. We play the comparison game because I saw uh, what's his name try this idea, something similar to this, and man, people were talking about him. They were posting about him on social media, or the local community didn't support anything he did. So you buy into this idea. Just say, for instance, let's bring it home, make it more practical. You want to start a music school in your city, right? But in your city, there's not a lot of interest that you know of in music. There's not a lot of interest that you know of in music. So instead of pursuing it and seeing how much you can do in regards to the idea, you immediately dismiss the idea altogether. Like, man, that would never work around here. People aren't interested in the music like that. So you immediately dismiss the idea, the opportunity, the exposure, the value you could add to so many people in the community, because you're completely convinced that in that area nobody is going to support. And as a man thinketh, so is he. That thought you're thinking in your mind, it's like you're going to attract that to you. So if you go into it with that mindset, if you so happen to pull it off and you aren't starting to do it, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking, man, nobody's going to support that, then you're going to attract that to you. You're going to start attracting that very thing, non-support, almost in a sense to make you feel confident about your doubts in the first place. Like, see there, I told you nobody was going to support it because you went into it with limiting beliefs. I'm learning something as I become older and much more learned in terms of faith and all these different things. I'm understanding how much my belief, how important my belief is in terms of, and we talked about believing on last week, but how important my belief in terms of making something happen, in terms of seeing something manifest in my own life, or being able to get something off the ground. Your own personal belief has everything to do with it. And if you don't believe it's possible, and you don't believe anybody is going to show up, you believe that people are not going to support, then, as you think in your mind, so be it to you. Because you're convinced that nobody is going to support this thing. I've seen such and such try this years ago. Yeah, but they weren't you. They didn't have the same mentality that you had. They didn't have the same identification, personality. They didn't have the same fingerprint that you have. So what didn't work for this person? Number one, it might have been out of time. It might just have been something with this person's integrity, or you never know what the things surrounding that would be, because just because one person tried it, it didn't work, it doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. So again, that fear of rejection is a big thing for most people. We don't want our ideas rejected. And so much so we'll create the rejection just to satisfy our need to feel rejected. And that sounds crazy, don't it? That need, it's like we have a need as humans to be right. Even if it's something that doesn't make any sense, we have that need and a desire to be right. It's like, I got a feeling that this is not going to work. I got a feeling that something bad is going to happen. You ever heard people say that? I just got a feeling something bad is going to happen. All right, what are you doing about that feeling? Like, are you speaking against that, or are you just going with it because I feel so strongly that something bad is going to happen? Well, let me know when you think there's going to be so I can get away from around you. Because if that's what you're walking around thinking, I don't want to attract that to me because that's not what my mind is programmed to. So that fear of rejection, that fear of something bad happening, and you creating it for yourself, is like, nah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And so those two things, that fear itself, that fear of rejection, and then the fact that some people are afraid to let loose. They are afraid of the unknown, so to speak. In terms of the little track that I was just playing with musically, I'm just trying ideas over this track and see what happens. But I found a lot of people are afraid of, yeah, some the black chat says called self-sabotage. Absolutely. Absolutely. The self-sabotage for sure. But I found that some people are afraid of the unknown, right? They're afraid to see what happens. It's like I'm exploring. I did a lesson a while back on this bass talking about past the 12th fret, no man's land. It's like there are a lot of people who are afraid to go past these two dots because we don't know what's gonna happen once we get. It's funny as bass players, but once we get up here in this area here, a lot of us are like, man, I ain't going up there. It's almost like we talking about a haunted house past the 12th fret. We don't we don't know what's up here, and so it's like the worst feeling in the world. And I've done it. Is to go up there past that 12th fret and you get to walking around in that haunted house and then you can't find your way back out. So like you missed the whole groove, everything. You land on the wrong note. So most people, because they've had that bad experience once or twice, they like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and stick on this side of the 12 frets because I don't know what's happening down. There's some other stuff. And don't mess around and be on a sixth string. You know what I'm saying? Because it really gets a little frightening if you don't really know your way around the instrument. So it's like that idea of I don't know what's behind door number 1 or 3 or 15. It's like I don't know what's back there. So because I don't know, I'm gonna take the safe route and I'm not gonna do anything. And that's how we approach creativity. It's like we're not gonna even try it because I don't want to mess up. I don't know what's gonna happen, and I'd rather not deal with the embarrassment if it comes. I'd rather not deal with the shame if it comes, because all these things are what ifs if you've never done it. You know what I'm saying? If you've done a little bit of something and it didn't go well, that was one time. It doesn't mean it's going to end that way every time. And so many people are afraid of taking that risk because they don't want to feel a little bit of embarrassment or a little bit of feeling like they failed. Well, one thing I can tell you for sure, if you're going to be a successful creative, you have to definitely be willing to fall on your face, embarrass yourself, look crazy, a whole bunch. That's the only way the ideas get off of the ground because other than that, you're just recycling something that you've seen somebody else do. Some of the courses that you guys see me who get on here early, some of the courses that you see me advertising for this video, each time I do the course, I have no idea how it's going to work. I have no idea if anybody's going to be interested in it. But surprisingly, against my own doubts, at times, people are wanting that stuff. So it's almost in a sense the very thing that you're afraid to let loose, or the very thing you're afraid to release, people are actually wanting that very thing. People are looking for it. You have a group of people who are hungry for what you have to serve to them. But because you're so afraid that the people who are not interested in it are going to reject it, you won't give the food to the people who are hungry for it. So now your idea is just sitting there while people are starving for that creativity that you possess because you won't put it out into the world because you're afraid of being rejected by people who are never intended to be your people. When I mean that, like your customers, your followers, or whatever you want to call it, the people you're supposed to be serving. If they are rejecting it, they were never intended to be your target group of people. Whereas the ones who want what you have, like even even doing grooves of motivation, I try to be transparent as much as possible. The idea of getting on here and playing my bass and then speaking, was terrifying at first because I didn't know how people were going to respond. I know most of these people who have subscribed, it's like over 40,500 of y'all now. Like, mind blowing. Might not mean nothing to nobody else, but to me, man, if you are a subscriber, thank you. When I started this channel, I had no idea. I couldn't even fathom 40,000 people wanting to listen or pay attention to anything I was talking about. And so the fact that you guys have subscribed to this channel and you're consistently watching the video, clearly all of y'all are not on here right now, but the ones that were watching the replay, thank you so much, because it really means a lot. Because you never know when you put this stuff out, you don't know how people are going to respond, but that's part of the excitement of it. That's almost part of the rush of it, because you don't know. If everything was known before you done it, it's like it would take the fun out of it. It would take the excitement out of actually trying something new, because you already know how it's going to end. How exciting is that? How exciting is it to go and watch a thriller at the theater and you already know how the movie is going to end? It's like, I'm not going to go pay $20 and $10 for a big thing of popcorn that they might not refill with COVID. Right. Right. So it's like, man, I'm not gonna do that. And because I already know what this thing is gonna be. Anthony says, you're always talking to me. Listen, I'm talking to me and I'm talking to whoever this falls on. So if I get on your toes, just comment ouch, right? Trust me, everything I'm saying, I've dealt with it before. That's why I'm able to share it so confidently, because I know the struggle, right? Deli, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Absolutely. So you know what I'm saying? So that idea, we have so many ideas. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, that kind of thing, mostly on Facebook, I'm always posting, and I say something probably every quarter or so. Don't throw away ideas. I'm saying it like almost every quarter. I don't know who's paying attention. The algorithm is working against me. It feels like, I know it's not, even though it is. Anyway, the people who are supposed to see it get it, right? And so don't throw away ideas. Why is this important? Kind of like that little loop or little idea I started the live with earlier. It's like I didn't really have a whole bunch of stuff where I was hearing the groove, wanted to finish the groove. I wanted to play around with it, but it's like I'm not hearing anything. So let me just save that, in a sense, put a pin in that idea and come back to it. Some of you guys create music and you'll make a beat or a track or something, and it's like, man, this junk was whack. Or you, the producer syndrome. You get up and listen to it the next morning. The day before it was hitting, and the next morning it sounds like trash, hot trash, right? And it's like, all right, delete, stop doing that. Stop deleting the idea because it doesn't sound as good as it initially did, or it didn't pan out the way that you thought it was going to pan out. Even if it's on a looper pedal. If you're taking up too much space on your looper pedal, find a way to get that off. I mean, voice record it or something, do a voice memo or something like that. Don't throw away these ideas, because even if you can't fully develop it, maybe a producer can. I absolutely love, as many of you know that I'm a music producer as well. I absolutely love bringing people's song to life. That's like, outside of playing and, musically, outside of playing, that's probably one of my favorite things in the world in terms of musically, because I get to take an idea that was a draft or a rough something in somebody's head, and I get to bring life to that thing. It's like God allows you to be or experience a little piece of who he is through your gift, through your craft that he's given you. And it's like, you're able to take this idea, somebody hums a melody or something to you. They have a couple of lyrics and they have maybe a couple of chord changes. And it's like, all right, I hear what you're doing. I hear where you're going with this thing. All right. And then, especially when you get to shock people and they're thinking like, man, this thing sucks. It's just an idea I got. And it's like, I listen to it. I'm like, no, that's actually a great song, because I can hear it. I have the ability to hear it finished when I'm listening to it. You're listening to what it sounds like now, whether we're talking songs, whether it's talking ideas. If you get to a person that knows how to do, that's why it's so important to get a mentor, get someone who's done what you're trying to do, because what you're calling junk, what you're calling trash, a person with skill or a person that's had success in that area or a person that's a visionary in a sense, they can look at what you call trash and said, man, that's a jewel. What do you mean you finna throw this away? Like, dude, this is some great stuff here, man. Come on, don't do that. Don't throw that away. What are you doing? I mean, just if you don't have the full idea right now, just put a pin in it. Stop trashing great ideas because you throw that away and then 2 years, 1 year, 6 months from now, a song, let's say a song, 6 months from now, you hear that song you had come on the radio and somebody else is doing it. You was like, man, that sound almost just like the, yeah, it does, doesn't it? I'm a firm believer that I feel like ideas are in the air. Ideas are in the air. It's like the first one to grab it and take off with it, obviously, and has a little success with it is the one that gets the credit for it. But he's probably not the first person that's thought about that thing. I'm sure there are tons of other people who have thought about doing gospel based lessons and creating content for the gospel community in terms of people who are wanting to learn um, gospel based. And I'm not saying I'm the first to do it, but I haven't seen as many people do as much content for bass players in the gospel arena as I have. And I'm not, again, I haven't researched everybody. And if you exist out there, don't take offense. You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking from experience. I know I probably wasn't the first one to come up with the idea. The point is, I executed when I got the idea. I didn't just keep sitting and think, oh, yeah, that would be a good idea. Yeah. Not gonna do that for about 2 years or 3 years after I get everything. It's like I gotta get this. That's the other thing that I think why people, I'm not gonna call it, are too afraid uh, to be creative. I think it's that procrastination that gets people, right? It's that procrastination, that waiting around, dragging around, waiting for the perfect moment. It's not necessarily a fear. Fear does cause procrastination, so I can tie it in that way. But it's that idea of waiting for the perfect time to do it. Once I get this done, I hear it all the time, man. Once I get this ready, and once I people that want to start doing a YouTube channel and doing videos and that kind of thing. Once I get my camera, once I get my lighting, once I get this, once I get that, like, yep. And by the time you get all of that stuff, you're gonna have to get something else because you're basing it on the wrong stuff. All of the fancy stuff like my little logo that's in the, right here. That's not as important as getting the content out because some of you guys see that, some of you guys don't. The biggest thing you're here for is the content and the value that I'm adding to you. If I'm not adding any value, I can have a banner and everything hanging up and graphics just flashing all across the screen. But if you're not experiencing any value from what I'm doing and what I'm saying, it's pointless. I just got a nice looking video. That's all. And I think so many people focus on the all the pyrotechnics and all of the the fancy things around the content as opposed to just creating good content or just creating something, doing something. Whether you're a content creator, whether you're a musician, whether you're a songwriter, whatever the thing, stop worrying about all this other stuff and just get busy doing something. Even if you put out a record on your own and it doesn't sound the greatest, at least you've done something. Of course, you want to strive for perfection. You want to strive for excellence. You want to put your best foot forward, but don't let that become an excuse to not get anything done. Because we could just sit on our hands and saying, well, I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting to get the money. I'm waiting to do. What resources do you have available right now that you can access right now that can help you get the things that you're trying to get done right now? But you haven't called on any of them. You haven't asked anybody for any help. You're trying to do every single thing, talking to me now. You're trying to do every single thing on your own when there are a community of people who are in place to help you, people who are already probably in your phone. I challenge you today, especially musicians. We are connected to everybody. I challenge you to go through your phone. Take some time, not to get lost, but take some time as it pertains to your goal. Let's be specific about it. As it pertains to your goal, something that you want to do, a dream, a vision, an idea that you had, go through your list of contacts in your phone and see, is there anybody in there who can help you bring this thing to fruition? I guarantee you got at least 2 people in there who can help you accomplish that goal. I don't care what it is. My brother has a saying, he's like, you're always one person away, or that person, right? That person has access to the person you want to know. So yeah, you're always like one person away from the person you're trying to get to. Literally. There's people that I've tried to connect with over the years. Some of them like quote unquote music celebrities, and I just happen to be cool, like not have a contact, but I happen to be cool with somebody who's cool with that person. So it's like, oh wow, man. It's like, yeah, dude, I wanted somebody to hear this song. I wanted to connect with this person at some point, to just connect. Oh, for real? Oh man, I was just talking to him the other day. Here, let me connect you guys. That simple. That simple. You're connected to somebody who's connected to the person you're trying to be connected to, right? So it's like you're closer than you think to realizing your goal. But the thing, fear is holding you back from even trying. Fear is holding you back from even trying, right? All right, so let's go back to a few of these comments. Uh, Anthony Anthony Adam says, I have a song since 1999. I have called top people, but it's gone nowhere. But I know it's a hit and don't know who to hear it. Um, Keep trying, man. Um, Again, as I said, you got to go through your contact. There's somebody within your contacts. You saying you have the song, it's already produced, um, or you have to produce it, because another thing with it, sometimes if you're trying to quote unquote get it out there, everyone doesn't hear the way that a producer or the way that a person who's done this thing can hear it. So oftentimes you might be giving it to the right people, you might be connected to the right people, but in that regard, presentation is everything, right? Because if this is a person that can actually make moves and the presentation of it is off, now there's a difference between actually getting something done, doing it just to say you did it and just to get the ball rolling to get something accomplished, and actually presenting something to, like, some folks who can move some mountains. If you're presenting this as your work, not as a demo, like, okay, this is a great song for someone, or this is a great song that I did and I produced this and blah blah blah. Now if you're presenting it that way, if it's not up to par, then of course people are going to sleep on it. If they're not, like, they're A&R people and they're not necessarily people who hear potential, they hear hits when they're produced and presented. Uh, I ain't gonna say a perfection, but you know what I'm saying? There are people who are looking for the next thing that's already ready to go. That's what I mean. It's already ready to go on the radio, like now. Now, in that regard, you have to make sure the presentation of it is where it should be. Now, I would find people around me, maybe people in my circle. And I did this in my early years of production and songwriting, just to help somebody. More practical, more technical stuff as we begin to move forward, because I feel like you're in that next phase. Um, Anthony, I feel like you're in that next phase. I don't know where you are, but this is just for whoever else is listening to this. You've already took action. You've already, maybe got the song, produced it or something like that. But that next phase of it is making sure that the excellence level is there. And sometimes it takes people hurting your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Somebody listening to the song, a good friend of mine, I don't know if he's watching this morning, but a good friend of mine, we write songs together. We have several placements on different gospel records. Zeke, but one of the things we used to do in our early years of writing, Zeke Listenby, our early years of writing songs and producing stuff, we would send stuff back and forth to one another, and we just be honest. Like I would tell, he always jokes about the fact that I would tell him, like, yeah, man, the track sounds great, but them drums is like, nah, that ain't it. you know, and just being brutally honest with each other. But we know it's in love. It's not trying to tear one another down. It's kind of like he would listen to something in my mind and it's like, okay, that's cool, but yeah, you need to let me do those keys because yeah, that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be stuff like that. And we'd be honest with one another. Both of us are taking action. We're not sitting on our hands doing it, you're not doing nothing. We're both taking action, but now we're going to that next phase of it because we want to improve in whatever it is we're doing. So we're listening to one another's stuff and, giving constructive criticism. And, we're not the only two that done it. There were other people in our circle that we would allow listen to it. I was connected to producers who had done work in the industry that I was trying to break into at the time. I would let them hear my stuff. And that was even when I moved to Atlanta. letting some of these producers down here hear my work. And it's like, man, that's a nice idea, but your drums suck. I had somebody to tell me that straight to my face, like no laughing or nothing like that. It's like, yeah, it's a great idea, but the drums suck. Your drum sounds are terrible. And so what do I do with that? I can get mad, I can kick and scream and say, "Oh man, you just don't like me." Or I can take that wisdom because they've done what I'm trying to do. Now, I will say this. Let me be careful because there's a fine line in everything. Now, one of the things I did with that I do regret, even though I took the wisdom of the experts and I did begin improving my sound, he didn't say something was wrong with my sound. Let me be very clear. However, this relates to you in your own area, whether you're doing music or playing or whatever the case may be careful not to take advice the wrong way. And I believe I did this early on in my musical career as a creative. I began to improve with my sounds that I was using, but I also found myself trying to create stuff that sounded like the people that I was getting the criticism from, the constructive criticism. So I got away from my own sound, trying to do what I thought they wanted to hear. And again, going back to the fact, he didn't say my ideas were terrible. He said my drum sound sucked, which means no, you need to tweak some of the sounds you're using. Your ideas are fine. Even though he didn't say that, now in hindsight, it's like, no, your ideas are fine. Your creativity is fine. There's nothing wrong with your creativity, but there's some things, the way you're presenting your creativity is going to cost you. So you should make these adjustments so that when you do present your creativity, it's well received because it sounds a little bit more polished, sounding like you, not trying to sound like everybody else. But I think in today's society, we like monkey see, monkey do. If this is a great sounding song, then I feel like industry wise, if you're working in the music industry, oh, that sounded great. This person had a great hit. Let's do a song that sounds like that person. Let's do a song that sounds like Adele. Let's do a song that sounds like Justin Bieber's last. I don't keep up, so you know what I'm saying. Let's do a song that sounds like Justin Timberlake's last hit, because if that's the standard based on someone else's creativity, we begin to buy into this idea that, oh, my stuff must need to sound like that. And that's not true. No, maybe you need to take some pointers from that record in terms of sonically, what are they doing to get that sound? Okay, so it sounds like this, and I can tell the drums are really big in the mix and it sounds hot. That don't mean you got to follow that format, but now you at least know what they did to get that winning song. Are there any things I can pull away from this example to add to my own stuff? If not, don't worry about it. But at best, I want to present the best possible presentation I can. So that means letting people hear it, who I trust to be honest with me, to give me constructive criticism so that I continually improve on what it is I'm trying to present, right? So if I do that, then every time I present something, it's going to be stellar. Like, it's going to be sweet. It doesn't matter if everybody doesn't get it. I just want to make sure that my presentation is good. There are a lot of food or a lot of dishes that I don't eat, but looking at them, I'm like, man, that look good, but I don't eat that. Like, sushi looks really good to me. I don't want sushi at all. I have no desire. I mean, it looks good sitting out there, the way they have it laid out and all this kind of stuff. There's some other little things that I see, you know, on Instagram. I'm going through my feed. I'm seeing them making all different types of food. Like, man, that look good, but I don't want it, right? It doesn't mean that it's not good. It's good for somebody, but for me, I don't want it. There are cakes. I'm not a big sweets guy. The older I get, I'm becoming more of of a sweets guy. I think that comes with age. But for me, I don't eat all those exotic cakes, you know, upside down pineapple cake and backside whatever type of chocolate cake, you know, all these crazy names that we have in the South for these different cakes and pies and all. I don't eat all that stuff. But it looks good. It looks really good, but I don't want it. I taste it, I don't like it. But somebody likes it because these people are creating it. Hopefully you guys are getting my point. Just because it ain't your cup of tea, it doesn't mean it's not good. Just because it's not somebody else's cup of tea, it doesn't mean it's not good. You don't have to readjust who you are for your ideas to be relevant. You don't have to do that. As a creative, you don't have to readjust who you are. Maybe you need to tweak some things about the way that you present, right? All right, I think I made a point there. Uh, so, Visions by Mike says, nice strap. Thank you, Mike. And for a limited time, no, I'm playing. But these straps are available. Shameless plug. My signature strap, you notice that the logo that's in the corner is also on the strap. These is the JM signature strap. So if you want one, your own signature strap, be sure to visit jermaine.morgan.net. Check out my shop tab or merch. I can't remember what it is. But yeah, you'll see it there. Just go to the site and click merch or something like that, and you'll see the straps icon pop up. And that way you can find all you want to know about the straps, right? All right, so thank you. um, P. Lee. Who did I miss? All right. Music for Jesus. My mom always taught me to not leap before I look, but to leap while I look. That's good. That's good. Leap while you look. All right. P. Lee says, good morning, Jay. Late for work. Have a great week, man. Thank you for joining, P. Lee. The black bass in the back is lovely. Stay tuned. A video is coming about that bass, probably tomorrow, around 11 a.m. You'll see a video about that bass. I'm not gonna get a close up on it right now, but you will see a video on that bass, right? George Williams says, love and appreciate you, Bro Jermaine. I really enjoy your show. I'm a fan of yours. I'm moving to the A soon. Hope to meet you someday. Keep up the great work, sir. Man, George, thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. To God be the glory. And yeah, man, when you come to the A, you never know, man. You might see me in Walmart or somewhere just randomly walking around. So yeah, just let me know who you are. I run into people all the time. Man, I watch your videos and stuff like that. I'm like, man, that's cool. I don't know you from a hole in the wall, but I'm glad you know who I am. But nah, I'm always honored to meet someone who watches the content, who supports the content, and it's always so humbling to me because people don't have to be nice, and most of the people who come up to me are very nice, very kind. I met someone, I don't know if he's watching. He normally watches Grooves and Motivation. I told this story a while back, but I met someone in Alabama a while back, a few months ago, who was watching Grooves and Motivation, and he walked up to me like, "Dude, you look familiar." I had a mask on, COVID and all that kind of stuff. I had my mask on. I'm looking just as regular and walking. I think I had some water and some shoes or something, taking my stuff up to my hotel room. He's like, "Man, you look really, really familiar." I was like, "Yeah, I got one of those faces. I get told that all the time." He said, "No, you look really familiar." He said, "Have you ever heard of this guy named Jermaine Morgan?" I said, "You know what? Matter of fact, I have." But anyway, it's just funny, man, to run up on people who are actually watching the content, who are paying attention to what I'm doing, and I'm glad that it's positively affecting you guys. And so it's my honor, man. I look forward to meeting you all as well. So all that being said, look forward to meeting you too, George. Daniel says, deep. Uh, Will do, Jay. Uh, that's a fact. B.E. Wool says, good morning. Running late this morning. Everybody running late this morning. All good, man. Thank you for being here. Christian DML, morning Jay from Indonesia. Good morning to you, Christian. Hopefully all is well for you. So yeah, those are the thoughts going back that I wanted to share with you guys. See, Ivan just popped up there. Sir, how are you doing? We currently burning in the essay, and the sun is too much. Now, is that South Africa or is that in the U.S.? I just want to make sure. I don't want to say the wrong thing. But wow, I know it's been hot in a lot of different places. We've been having some extreme weather. We've been having some extreme weather here in the States as well. And my heart goes out to any of you guys who've been affected by these extreme weather and all this kind of stuff. If you lost any property damage, any of that stuff like that, my heart goes out to you guys. So, yeah. All right. So, good afternoon in SA. I'm assuming, yeah, I'm assuming South Africa. I ain't want to say it wrong. So Cabello, good morning to you, Ivan. Both of you guys in South Africa. George says, "Ouch." George, did I get on your toes? I say something to get on your toes. I said coming out if I got on your toes earlier, right? So anyway, again, just wanted to share with you guys a few thoughts about why I think most people are afraid, too afraid to be creative, right? So don't hold back on your creativity. Good night, Jay. This is Mateo says, good night, Jay. Here, a Colombian guy based in China. Man, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Good night to you. I'm getting my day started while you're ending yours. So, good night to you. Um, but yeah, that's again, guys. That's all I wanted to say. Just wanted to jump on here for a few seconds, talk with you guys about that. So if you've been putting the lid on your creativity, take the lid off. Remember, the challenge today is to go through your phone. Go through your phone, check your contacts, and line it up with what you're trying to do, that idea, that vision, that dream, that goal that you have, and find at least two people there. Find at least two people who are already in your contacts and reach out to them. See if they'd be willing to help you. Now, I will say this. People who are doing stuff or people who that you perceive to be successful, they're not going to come and push a bus that's sitting still. I give you a minute to let that soak in. Let you kind of marinate with that. It's not fair to ask people to help you with a vision that you're not doing anything with. Most people, like myself, I don't mind getting on board with something that's already moving for the most part, and I'll be really clear about that. Now, if it's an idea that you're starting from the ground up and you just need hands on deck to help you move something, that's cool. But you have to make sure that you're willing to do as much or more work than the people that you're requesting out of, because I nobody want to come do anything you ain't got no skin in the game on. It's like you expecting me to put my all into something and you're not doing anything with it. You mean you ain't put nothing up, and you want me to come put up everything and do all the work too? It's going to be hard to get people to help you. But when people see you moving, I think one of the things, even with bringing people in to help me with a lot of the work that I've done in the past and even currently now, people see the momentum of what I already have going on. And it's like, all right, this guy has a lot happening. He's moving, he's doing stuff. And so now when I request for someone to help or to ask them to be a part of the team, they're more than happy. They're like, man, I'd love to be a part, because it's something that's moving. We're doing something. You see things happen. You see the results of my work. You see what's going on. You might not know all the details surrounding it, but you know that there's something that's happening. This dude is doing something. He ain't just sitting on his hands. I know that's been the term of the day. Sitting on your hands, not doing nothing. You just sitting there like this. Nothing's happening, right? So when people see you doing something and they can trace results from the work that you've been putting in, it's like, of course. Oh, I see what you've been doing over here. Like, yeah. Even like people that you want to invest. It ain't got to be Shark Tank. But one of the things when you see people, if you've ever watched the show, I used to like watching the show Shark Tank, but if you've ever watched the show, one of the things they want to know, what have you done? What are your earnings? What are you projected to make? You know what I'm saying? In terms of your business idea, whatever. What have you already done with this? Before I invest my money into this, what have you already done yourself? How is your business looking on your own? Have you already done something? Do you have anything to show for what you've done? Right? So it's like those things you want to take into consideration when you're requesting somebody to put their hands on your idea. What have you already done? What do you have to show? Don't have a song idea in your head and now you're asking somebody to do something with it. If you have a phone, at least do a voice memo. Do that much. If you don't play anything, you can't play the piano or anything like that, at least record the song in your phone. Don't just tell somebody, I got this song I want to produce. All right, let me hear it. Well, I don't have any. Bruh, you're going to get that, right? So we don't want that. We want to be able to present something to people that shows that there is effort going behind the creativity, the thing that we're trying to do. There's effort going behind it, right? All right. So Ivan says, "Do you sell bases? I'm loving the one you're holding." I don't sell bases. This is my custom Serene. I'm not going to go into all the specs and details about this base. I did a video about 2 to 3 weeks ago. It's on my channel that you can see this. I personally don't sell bases. If you want this base, maybe you can talk to Scott Serene at Serene Bases about building your base. Sweetwater sells Sweetwater sells bases, and I've been demoing a good bit of their bases. Well, not that many, but I have some more coming that I'm gonna let you guys check out. So, no, I personally don't sell bases. All right, so I'm glad you like it though. I'm really glad you like it. Tiffany says, "I feel like you have explained my life for the past 2 weeks." Wow. Oh wow. I actually had no idea how successful they had become. LOL almost made me want to hang up. You just never know. You never know. You could be in the presence of greatness and you never know. That's why it's always good to ask questions. Don't assume, going back to that one of the four agreements, don't assume because someone acts common with you or because somebody I get this term a lot, man, you so down to earth, you so cool. And I'm like, man, well, thank you. I don't feel like I have a reason to be arrogant or any of those things. But at the same time, that doesn't take away from my experiences. Being cool and down to earth doesn't take away from what I know, what I've experienced, who I come in contact with, what God has allowed me and blessed me to do in my career, and the wisdom that I've gained from that. That didn't take away from that. So oftentimes you might have people who are extremely successful right in your phone, and just because they don't present themselves that way, you don't know what they do. It's good to sometimes ask your friends. Some people you might have met in college, and you're still connected with them on Facebook, and they're running a multi-million dollar company. You don't even know it because they don't never say anything about it. So it's good to not try to weasel and get something out of people, but just to stay connected with certain people or to reach out or to just follow up or follow through and just check and see. Because again, you might have someone right in your list of contacts who can help you to do what it is you're trying to do. You're very Deli, to my point. There, Deli says you're very humble and ready to share your experiences. Looking forward to meeting you one day. Have a blessed day. Thanks, Deli. I appreciate that, man. George Williams says, "Ouch! I'm gonna have to talk to God about him telling all my have to talk to God about him telling all my business." I want to say this as well, guys. I rarely share this. I probably don't share it enough, but I do offer coaching calls. Now, the people who have taken the most advantage of it, not everybody, but people who take the most advantage of it, of course, is because of bass playing. And, we do the 30-minute one-on-one coaching session, and I lend that to bass playing. If you want to become better on bass, I do have one-on-one coaching sessions. And the reason why I call it coaching, because it doesn't always deal with an instrument or a bass. There are some things I've learned as an entrepreneur doing this for a while now, and just as a creative, as an author, all these different things. There's some things that I've learned along the way that goes beyond music and that I'm able to share, even with consulting. I offer consulting as well for bands, groups, churches, all these different things. So I'm not just limited to this instrument. I think oftentimes just where people see me the most and they think, okay, he's talking coaching one-on-one is just bass lessons. I don't need no bass lessons. No, if you want to set up a coaching call with me where we can kind of talk through some ideas and get a little bit more in depth on your specific needs. Maybe there's some things I can share with you that will spark ideas for you to move forward, or we can come up with a strategy for you moving forward in what it is you're trying to do, because it ain't always got to be music related, right? And I've talked way beyond the sphere of music, so it's not all for me. All things aren't always music. It goes beyond that a lot of times. So I just want to make sure that you guys know. So if you want to know more about that, check out, and I'll put this on the screen. Check out my website, JermaineMorgan.com. and you can check out the coaching there on my website, right? So you can see that on the website and just click the tab where it says coaching to learn more about the coaching sessions, what they consist of, all this kind of pricing and all that kind of stuff. I'd love to sit down. I'd love to talk with you guys. Again, I share here every week, but of course, this is not as in depth as it would be on our one-on-one calls. For the people who've done the one-on-one calls with me, they know that, and we went beyond the music. You already know it gets a little bit more deeper than just talking music, because sometimes we need something that's a little bit more practical than just a bass riff, a run, or just learning how to groove on the bass. Like, I can do that, but I need to know how to get this business off the ground. I need to know some things I need to be doing right now in order to move everything forward for what I'm trying to get into. So if I can help you there, I'd love to sit down and talk with you on a coaching call. Um, let's see. Let me go back. Let me go back. Visions by Mike. You should have some clinics. I have done clinics. Well, I got you. I'm assuming that you said that probably before I started talking about it. But yeah, I have definitely done clinics in the past. I do come out and do clinics for, again, different churches and consulting and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely definitely way ahead of you, Mike. And so again, if you want to know more about that, or you want to follow up, be sure to send me an email or go and fill out a contact form on jermaine.morgan.net. If you want consulting or coaching, either one, just simply go to the page. If you're looking for consulting for your band, group, or whatever that you have, and you want to talk about that, go to the tab that says About. There's a drop down there, and you see consulting there. And there you can reach out and send me a contact specifically about consulting. Now, if it's about coaching, you can just easily sign up for coaching there at jermainemorgan.net under the coaching tab. So hopefully that makes sense to all you guys. Tiffany says, you have made a good point. One guy immediately asked for detail I did not have. You're right about being prepared and going somewhere. Absolutely. Absolutely. B. Wolf says, oh man, I'm sorry. I have to go. Things are starting to heat up at work already, but I will be coming back later to watch. All good, man. Thank you for hanging around. Jason, good morning to you. Just drop it in. Thank you for dropping in, Jason. Listen, guys, this is pretty much the end of it. If you want to catch me, I'm here every week, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. I'm here every single week. And if I'm not here, be sure to check the community tab or whatever. I don't know if you guys see those notifications when I miss a live or something, but I always try to let you guys know. I think about a month or so ago, we had a storm that come through, and I had to cancel the live. And I put up a video about it, and I put it up in the community tab. So be sure to check that stuff. If you're following the page, be sure to check that stuff. Mitch, keep inspiring and motivating, Jermaine. I appreciate the knowledge and the mentoring you provide. There aren't a lot of accomplished musicians who are willing to educate like you do. Much respect. Mitch, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the kind words. And I feel like I am where I am, and I'm going where I'm going because of people who weren't afraid to share information with me. There was a lot of things I had to get the hard way, um, via virtual mentors and that kind of thing, or books. And so I want to make this information available to people as well. But because this information is being made available, do me a favor. If you find something helpful, don't sit on it and sit on your hands. Don't just put it in your pocket and like, yeah, I come back to that. If you find something helpful, do something with it. This information costs. I get on here and share for free, but there are also people who pay for this information. It might not mean nothing to you, but it means a lot to them because they're willing to pay top dollar for information and, strategies and that kind of thing. So if you're getting this stuff and it's helpful to you, at the very least, don't waste it. Don't waste it, right? Because it cost me something to learn this stuff. Again, it might not mean nothing to you, but these are a whole bunch of life lessons that I've learned that have literally helped me to transition from just being a musician only to being able to be much more than that, much more than that. And there's nothing wrong with being a musician. I love it. That's pretty much been my whole life. But I learned that I needed a little bit more than that personally. Now, and I have anything to do with you, but personally, I needed a little bit more than that. And just being able to stretch myself and stretch what I know over the years has helped me to do just that and to extend past only being a musician. Right? So, Donnie, good morning to you, sir. Tiffany says, well said, Mitch. Well said, Mitch. Hello, can you teach to play all the notes in the fretboard? Toxic. Absolutely. I can do that in the monthly membership lessons. And on these other videos, I'm not going to do it here on this live, on these other videos that I have on my channel. So be sure to just go through, just do a deep dive, just do a binge of my channel when we get off of here. And you'll find what you're looking for, I'm pretty sure. So, Flicker Man, good morning to you. All right, guys, I'm jumping off. I've extended my time. The hour has been well spent. So anyway, thank y'all for hanging with me today. I hope and pray that this has been super helpful for you. And go through your phone. Go through your phone. This is great. Got a nice little notification. Go through your phone and see who you have that can help you to start getting those ideas out. Good morning, Paul. All right, I'm out. Peace.